Welcome to the Front Seat Life podcast. This is Jessica Butts, your host and CEO and creator of Front Seat Life, where I help you be unapologetically who you are in your life, love, and business. Hello, Front Seat Lifers. It is Jessica Butts. I am excited to come to you with this episode today. I am full of sass and vinegar. I just woke up in this super ass sassy mood. And so today's episode is full of the F-bombs, full of truth telling, full of tears about why I believe being an intuitive type is your greatest asset and also possibly ruining your life. So I did a Facebook Live series. I am doing a book club over on my personal page as well as Instagram. If you want to get these emailed to you, you can hop over to my website at jessicabutts.com, sign up for my list, and I will email you all of them, 10 episodes that I'm going to be recording. But today's episode felt particularly important for the podcast. So excuse the hi everybody's and checking ins and all of those kinds of things that are required for a Facebook Live that are not required for a podcast. But I believe the content is going to really, really resonate with many of you. So I hope you enjoy today's episode. And as always, hop over to iTunes and let me know your comments. It is Jessica Butts. Good morning. It is May 8th, I believe, Wednesday, day 3 of the book club. Hello, Joy. Hello, Instagram Live up here and Facebook Live down here. I am really honored that you guys are with me. So I have a sass warning. I'm going to just straight up tell you I am in a sassy ass mood. I'm definitely going to be dropping the F-bomb a few times. So if you've got kids around, you might want to put some earmuffs on. I don't know what's about to come out of my mouth, but I am fired up about today's topic. For those of you who have been following me, who have read my book, who have watched really anything that I've done over the last couple of years, this is my favorite dichotomy. Today, we're going to be talking about chapter 3, and sensing and intuition. Over the last few years, since I've even written this book, new things have come to light to me and get me more and more fired up about personality type. I learn new things. I'm working with new people. I see it in my own life and I get really fired up. So today I am full of sass and vinegar. So beware, because I'm going to keep it fucking real. So I'm just going to drop the F-bomb right away to warn you about what's about to come. So today's topic is, again, sensing and intuition, but I'm going to not be like boring about it today and just talk about like what sensing and intuition is, because all of you can read and this is a book club. And so you're, educated human beings and you were able to read the fact that what I have written in Don't Do Stuff You Suck At. So you can see the differences, you know what it's all about. So I'm going to talk about some shit that's not in the book because, I can and I want to. And again, I'm feeling sassy today. So here's the deal. For all you intuitives, you're only 25% of the population. So the deal is, this is how we take in information. So literally sensing and intuitive see the world completely different. Not only do we see the world different, we then perceive it different and go out into the world different. We take in information in different ways. As selfish human beings, which we all are, we're all egocentric and selfish because we live in our own skin. We can empathize and sympathize people, but we can really never see things truly as somebody else. We live in our own world. And so it is very difficult for us to see things from other people's perspective. And as an intuitive type, an N, we are only 25% of the population. And therefore, we are often minimized, suppressed, oppressed, told that there's something wrong with us, that we're stupid, that we're dreamers, that we're irritating, that we're flaky, that we're dreamers, that we're not realistic. Like, who's getting fired up right now as I say this? I am. I can feel myself getting frustrated and irritated because this was told to me my entire life. Can I get some hands of who has felt this way and been told this way? Have you felt this way before? I know that I most certainly was. So what I want to talk about today are a lot of things. The title of this, you guys are saying yes, 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 is why being an intuitive type can be ruining your life as well as your greatest asset. And I will get there, I promise. So I'm getting some amens. I felt like this for sure. So as only 25% of the population, the world around us is set up by sensors. And sensors live in the moment. They take in information in a practical, factual way, in a practical, in the moment, detailed way. They make up 75% of the population. Schools are designed for sensors by sensors. 9-to-5 jobs are built for sensors by sensors. Our day-to-day routine is really developed for these kinds of people. However, 25% of the population, myself very much included, and I'm guessing most of you watching, we don't live by these rules. We literally can't live by these rules. We are told all those things that I mentioned before, that we're stupid, that we're flaky, that we're dreamy, that we need to get our shit together, that we need to put our heads down, that we need to go get a job, that we need to, buckle down, blah, blah, blah. All this bullshit that we're told, because I actually think it's just because they don't understand who we are. They get real uncomfortable, they being sensors. And again, some sensors sometimes send me messages and get a little pissed about this, but I'm sassy today and I'm just keeping it super effing real. Is that sensors are able to live in the moment. God bless them. They are able to take in information via their 5 senses. They are very in the now, concrete individuals. There's a lot of reasons for the demise of my marriage. Most of you know the story. I'm definitely not going to go into it right now, but it's out there and people know what happened. This, however, is a huge, huge part of why we ended up divorcing and not being together, is that I suppressed this part of myself because it was misunderstood by him, by my mother. So my mom's a strong S, my sister's a strong S, and my husband, Brian, was a strong S. I worked in corporate America, all strong S's. Went through regular school. I didn't go to a charter school or anything. Very strong S. When I went to graduate school and I turned about 35, I realized there's something wrong with me. Like, what is wrong with me? I can't live in these confines anymore. I can't do this anymore. I'm literally like itching from the inside out. I gotta do something different. I want to go start my own business. I want to start traveling and living the way that I want to live, and not necessarily with a white picket fence and doing all the different things that I have in my mind, traveling and whatever. And I allowed myself to be suppressed for many, many years because I didn't understand that this part of me is my greatest asset. And I'm here to tell you, this is also your greatest asset. That this part of us is what separates us from the Muggle world, the 75% of the population that take in information a certain way. And again, God bless them. There's not a right or wrong here. I'm just speaking to the intuitives that are likely oppressing themselves or suppressing themselves or letting somebody do that to them because it's uncomfortable for them. I continue to hear this over and over and over with the entrepreneurs that I work with that are married to the opposite type, just like I was with Brian, that need all the facts and the data and the details in order for them to start a new career. And this is not about us, intuitives just saying, fuck it, and I'm just going to go do whatever I want to do. Like, we still need to have a plan. We still need to have a budget. We still need to know what we're doing and bring that information and be logical and somewhat practical about it. However, we also still need to grow and learn and be able to leap and to be able to dream and to be able to say, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. And that is something that's legitimate. So I'm here to say right now that there is no way that I would be doing what I am doing today if I would have stayed in that relationship with someone who didn't believe in me. And again, there's a lot of different issues there, but there's also a part of it that the strong censor just couldn't almost allow that to happen. There was such a suppression. There was such I need to know all the facts. And the reality was I didn't have the facts. I just needed someone to believe in me. So since I have left that relationship, I have stepped into my intuitiveness 1,000%, and it has completely and utterly changed my life. And I will also say there are times when it is ruining my life and my guests, yours. So let's talk about this for a little bit. Okay, people, I'm just going to fucking keep it real. Okay, I'm just keeping it real today. This is super, super personal, but I want to see some comments below because I do not want to feel alone in what I'm about to share with you. Deal? Okay, I seriously need some validation here. So in relationships, censors are factual kinds of people, right? They can see the facts of a relationship. They're able to be in the here and now. Censors are able to see the facts. They are able to see this guy is not the right guy for you. This is what comes up for me a lot. This guy, Jessica, see the writing on the wall, girl. This is the facts of this dude. This is the facts of the job that you're considering taking or the person that you're considering dating. These are the facts. They are practical people. Intuitives, we are the what-ifers, right? So we are always thinking about, well, maybe I could fix him. Maybe this will work out. Maybe this would happen. Maybe what if this? What if he gets his shit together? What if he's the love of my life? What if, right? We are the what-ifers. This part of being an intuitive, I personally think can ruin our lives. Because oftentimes we put blinders on to being able to see reality. We are also always living in the future. We are also always living in the future. So, that feeling of wanting so badly to be present. You want so badly in a moment to be present and you want to I just really want to enjoy this and be present in this moment. Yet, all your brain can do is, I wonder what I want to have for dinner. And I wonder I wonder what's next. I should write another book or I should do this or what about this or, I should go here or, on your vacation, you're I wonder where I'm going to go next. Or we're always doing the what if and what's next. So we do this in relationships and we oftentimes, I'm going to keep it real. We stay too long. We may stay too long or we have blinders on and we don't see things clearly for what they are. And as I say, the functional pairs, these are the things in our life that we suck at and we need other people to help us see clearly. So what I often do is I check in with my sensing friends about the facts of something. So in dating and things, okay, this is what's going on. This is my dream. This is how I may be perceiving things. This is how I could maybe fix this or blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh my God, girl, here's the facts. Girl, stop. Here's the facts. This is what's happening. And sister, stop. Or in a relationship. I mean, I recently watched somebody end a marriage that was very factual based, an ESTJ. And they just ended this relationship and were like, okay, think I'm kind of done. Like, I'm done. The facts are very clear. Like, I'm moving on. Yes, licked their wounds a little bit, but we're kind of over it. And intuitives, one, I think we stay way longer than we need to stay. I'm getting a lot of likes and amens here. We stay way longer than we need to stay. And we even then, like, as we're like ending something, but what if this? What if they got their stuff together? What if I made the wrong choice? What if I made the wrong choice or the right choice? I mean, we're such what ifers, like almost ad nauseum. I have another dear friend. God bless her. I feel like a Southern girl when I say that, but God bless her. She cannot make a decision to save her life. She's an ENFP, INFP, and it's always the what ifs. Like, what if there's a better wedding dress out there? What if there's a better wedding venue? What if we don't go to counseling? What if we do go to counseling? It's this constant battle of what if versus what is reality? What is right now? And so when I start thinking about all the things that I what if and the things that I'm not always necessarily paying attention to, I realize that there are moments where I feel like this is fucking ruining my life. Like, I wish that I could just come back into this moment, have a reality check, and just be present. And the reality is, I, and all of you watching that this is resonating with, is that this is the part of our lives that we need help with. I mean, this is why I wrote this freaking book about don't do stuff you suck at. This in your business and in your life is like, we need people to help us see freaking reality. And I help my sensor friends see the what ifs. They come to me when they're being like practical bitches. God, I'm so sassed up today. I don't know what I had for breakfast, but I'm sassed up. Like, they come to me and say, okay, I'm being a total practical bitch. I just want to end this relationship. Like, I'm freaking over it. What do I do? Or, this business is whatever, like blah, blah, blah. And I help them see, okay, girl, like, take a breath and let's talk about like what could possibly be happening. Let's get curious. Let's look at the possibilities. But yet that for us intuitives can also like be ruining our lives and making us crazy as well. And so this is why we need the other people to check out. Somebody up here on Instagram Live is saying pros and cons list, girl. Yeah, and we need other people to help us with the pros and cons list, because sometimes as intuitives, we don't even see reality. Like, do you get how big that is? Like, sometimes we have created a story in our head because we are not practical pros and cons kinds of people. How many people have created massive stories out of not reality? Come on. Massive stories about not reality. There's a thing that I learned in graduate school when I was a couples therapist. It's a model called the ladder of inference. I believe that intuitive types are intense ladder climbers, meaning we take observable data and we fly up this ladder we make up all these fucking crazy stories, right? Oh my God, this is happening, or this is happening, or this is happening, or nobody likes me, and my business is going to fail, and I'm going to be a bag lady, and this person hates me, and maybe they're meeting somebody else, and my friends hate my guts, and I pissed somebody off, and wow, right? We make up these stories. And so up here on Instagram Live, like, I totally get that about making the pros and cons list, but sometimes we don't even know what reality is, because in our creative, intuitive brains, we have made up a completely different story. We have made up this crazy ass story. And that's why we need sometimes to make a pros and cons list, but we also need to check it out with other people. Like, I do this a lot. I get, woo, who does this? Who does this? Up here in the weeds, spinny, spinny, spinny. I like to think of the way that sensors and intuitives' brains think differently is like a funnel. So think about a funnel for a second. And sensors are down at the bottom of the funnel. They think and process information detailed wise. They're right down here. Like, bring me the facts. Let me make this decision. I see it. I got it. I see this stuff right here. So down here at the bottom of the funnels where they take in information. Us intuitives, we're all up here. Dreamy and creative, and we make up these crazy ass stories about whatever, and all of a sudden, this is where we live, right? We live up here. So let me get back to why this part of it can be ruining your life, and it's also our greatest asset. So while it happens at the same time, I mean, I say this all the time, that this is like my greatest asset in my business for sure, and my life, I think in general, but it also like makes me want to blow my own brains out sometimes. Like I feel like a crazy person. Like I'm all up here and I'm building these stories and doing all this stuff and I'm way up here, when sometimes I need to just like come back to reality, sit down, journal, make a pros and cons list, and like get really detailed about the reality. And so in our business and in our life, while this can be one of the most difficult things about us, it also is our greatest asset. And so I believe strongly in learning how to own this. One of the main reasons that I left my marriage, and I continue to hear this from clients, is that this is going to make me cry a little bit, is they feel like they have to continue to explain this part of them as if it's a bad thing. Because, and the reason that is because 75% of the population takes in information and thinks differently. They are fine in a 9-to-5 job. They are fine in day-to-day routine. We intuitives are not. You guys know that I said it at the beginning of this, that burning thing that I talked about that was inside of me. How many of you have that? Raise your hand. How many of you have that thing? I know you have it, and yet we end up spending a whole bunch of time and energy trying to justify it or explain it away. And this is why I do this work, because I'm tired of people feeling like there's something wrong with them or that it needs to be justified. Intuitives are not flaky. They are not just dreamers. They can accomplish magnificent things. They can do anything. A lot of the best and most influential entrepreneurs in the world are intuitive types. Barack Obama, Steve Jobs, Oprah, I'm guessing Michelle Obama as well. Like some of these, like the greatest minds in the world are intuitive types. And yet, we go through life feeling like we have to justify it or explain it to somebody because we're only 25% of the population. And type is not about right or wrong. I am not saying being an intuitive type is the right way either. Trust me, there's plenty of times I wish I wasn't this way and that I could just have a 9-to-5 job and be fine. But I'm constantly creating and wanting new and wanting more. Like, who knows that feeling, right? We're exhausted. It's exhausting. Is it not? It's exhausting. I mean, I often think like, I don't know if I would choose this again. Not that we get to choose it. We're just born with our personality type, but it is an exhausting and awesome way to live. But I am so tired of people feeling like they need to justify this in some way, or that we're wrong or flighty, or that wanting to start our own business is like ridiculous. So here's the deal. If you're an intuitive type and this is resonating with you, I encourage you to sit down. Share this with your partner. Share this with your partner and start having a conversation about, I'm not wrong here. You're not right and I'm not wrong. We just need to learn how to compromise. What information can I give you that would help you understand this? Knowing that sometimes we don't have all the answers. I mean, I will never forget the conversations my husband and I used to have around this when I started my own therapy business. So I left graduate school, and you better fucking believe I had like a business license and an office to do my therapy before I was even graduated. I mean, I am a go-getter. And so I'm trying to show him like I'm determined. I'm going to like get up every day and go to work and sit in that office, even though I didn't have any clients. But all he wanted to know was, what's the timeline and how much? And the reality is some of those things we don't know. All we know is that I am going to be committed. I am going to show you by my time and my actions that I am going to do this thing. And if you cannot believe in me, then you have no place in my life. I get a little on my high horse about that. And as a former couples therapist, there's a lot of people who think, oh, you should blah, blah, whatever. Again, I'm just sassy and I'm just speaking my own truth right now. But it is not worth it. It would not be worth it for me to stay there and not do what God designed me to do and to show up in this world and own my intuitiveness. Because that's the other part of this is how God made you. This is literally how you were put into this world. So if we're going to suppress it, and again, I think we're only I know we're only 25% of the population. So we were made this way for a reason. We're meant to go be entrepreneurs. We're meant to go do these different things. Yet it makes the censors so fucking uncomfortable that they detail us out of it, right? They need to know every single detail. I'm not saying we don't need to give them some details, but we need to learn how to speak each other's language and then compromise and figure out how that we can both be happy. I listened to a podcast episode yesterday. Highly recommend it. Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, and he had Esther Pearl on there. And it's about a 90-minute episode, but 45 minutes in until the 90-minute mark was some of the best relationship advice I've ever heard in my life. Just straight up about letting people be who they are. Quit trying to manage people and tell them what to do and justify them. If you're not married to somebody that you love for who they are, dude, just get the fuck out now. Why would you want that? Okay, I'm going down a rabbit hole here pretty quick. So I'm going to wrap this up. I want more than anything for couples, I think, to start talking about this and having the censors understand that we're not flaky and quite honestly that they're not right. But we come off as flaky to them. And so as intuitives, we have to do our part with 75% of the population to learn how to communicate that. And I will end this with relationship or not. I mean, I'm single and, lots of you aren't in a relationship as well. And even if you are in a relationship, it doesn't really matter. It's about owning who we are. Knowing that not only is this okay, it's actually a gift. It is a gift to be an intuitive type. You have been giving a gift that only 25% of the population gets to be and gets to have. And I believe you are doing yourself a massive disservice. You're doing your children a disservice, potentially the world a disservice, by not showing up and sharing who you are, this special part of you. And this is why I do this work. My BHAG, my big, hairy, audacious goal is to get literally everybody to understand this so that we quit trying to make everybody like us. This is what we do. We get married and we try to make our spouse just like us. We have kids and sadly, so many parents try to make them just like you are, or we try to make them well-rounded. Quit trying to do that. Just own who you are and be awesome at who you are. I know the second that I left that relationship and have stepped into how God designed me and how God made me, my entire life has changed. I'm happier. I make way more money. I have freedom. I have creativity. I get to do what God designed me to do in this world. And if I would have continued to suppress that, it's just doing the world a disservice, right? So the same is true for you. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for dealing with my swears. Thank you for dealing with my sass. Thank you for dealing with my runny nose. I get runny noses when I cry. It's the worst thing. I'm a speaker and I do a podcast and I cry all the time, yet I have a runny nose. What are you going to do? All right. I love you guys. I hope that you will share this with people. Here's the deal. If you want these emailed to you, because I'm going to start deleting these. If you want them emailed to you, get on my email list at jessicabutts.com. Here's the caveat though. Stephanie, my fabulous assistant, send me a message. If you are already on my email list, you do not have to do it again, because then you're going to start getting multiple emails. So you do not have to register again. So if you are already getting awesome emails from us, you don't have to do it again. We're going to email them out. If you're new to this and you want more of this, I'm going to start deleting these. Then go over to jessicabutts.com and we will be emailing these out to you. All right, guys, I'm going to go mastermind, use my intuitiveness and go mastermind for the next 3 days. I will be live again tomorrow morning, probably in sweats and a ponytail in a completely new environment. We're going to Seattle to do this. So love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Possibly less sassy, but we'll see. Bye, guys. From the bottom of my heart, truly, thank you so much for listening. I know that you have a ton of options, and the fact that you are taking time to listen to the Front Seat Life podcast means absolutely everything to me. If you're interested in learning more about the Front Seat Life way of life in the community, there's a couple ways that you can do that. First is always starting with your personality assessment tool. It's available on my website at jessicabutts.com. It's totally free, and it will help you figure out your personality type so you'll have some idea of what we're talking about. Next is, if you're interested in hiring me for a keynote or some coaching or strategy days or the fabulous and amazing Front Seat Life community, you can find out all about all of that at jessicabutts.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.